this Wednesday is the TED board meeting in Colville. If I'm going to resign from TED, I like doing things in person, and to say, gotta go, that's it. I would rather not resign today, because if I did, there'd be nobody to sign the vouchers and the warrants on behalf of Ponderay County at Wednesday. So that's a very condensed, we can have, we have as much time as you want to discuss it. It's on the table. I will defer to the will of my fellow commissioners. If you, John, said, you really should resign, I'll second the motion and we can be done today. If you say you want to wait for Brian, that's fine too. Anyway, I've said what I had to say. It's an issue that was on my mind. I wrote it up here. Over to you.
Well, first off, I view it largely as a moot point. The board is going to have representation on TED. Whether it's you or someone else, we are going to have someone on that board.
Right.
And so there would be appearance of a potential conflict of roles, conflict of interest, regardless. You work to get to a chair position where you have influence on behalf of the people of Ponderay County. In my estimation, this is an alignment of interest. I think where we get stuck is our personnel policy and this appearance of the possibility of a conflict. Is there one of those? Sure. Does that mean anything in the law? No, it doesn't. You have a conflict or you don't have a conflict. And so for that, I would lean on Dolly's interpretation. I mean, I would just very clearly, these are both of my roles, and maybe even in black and white, this is what's expected of me. Probably not. There's probably nothing written about what the chair's responsibilities are there, but Dolly can extrapolate from that. So no, that's my inclination. That there may be appearance, and to me, even well, I won't say that's a stretch. I can understand how people would have a loose understanding or an incomplete understanding of how that works. But an actual conflict, a legal conflict of interest, I doubt it, but I'm not a lawyer, so I would be inclined to say no. We want you on that board. The other way to skin the cat, and maybe this is implied, and you are indicating your preference one way or the other with this document, that would be for you to remain chair of TED and just recuse yourself from the vote, of course. But I don't think either are going to be necessary. Okay. I think Dolly's going to say, no, this is, and the reason I say that is because we vote contracts for boards we are on, for other committees and boards we are on all day, every day, right? Every year we do that with Youth Emergency Services, Veterans Affairs. So we sit on all these boards, and they are the entities that carry out the work, and we renew those contracts. So is it actually a conflict of roles? In this case, it's both economic development. It feels like an alignment of roles to me, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it does. So my takeaway is regarding, yes, I'll ask Dolly, which I haven't yet, so sure. I want to start with you. I will ask Dolly. Since we're having this discussion, though, to drill into a point that's not wasn't part of this message, but because Jeff sent out the email, should I recuse myself from that part of the budget discussion on how much money TED could? No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
So their budget comes from their accountant, and this is what they're asking for.
Right.
And we're going to ask you, are they providing this much value, and what are the new costs going towards? And they kind of line that out in the email, right? And so you're a subject matter expert there. I feel like we all fight for our committees, and I feel like that's perfectly appropriate, but there are places, maybe with rural resources, or use this as an example, but a place where you might not say, no, I'm 100% comfortable. This is, we've got all right. And so that's it, that we're gonna have an honest conversation at the table. This is a good entity, doing good things. I trust them, or no, I trust them up to $50,000, but I don't know, we're not. So you get the idea. I think that's, to me, that's the point of having you on the board, and then chair just does double duty for us. Just make sure we're not left out of the conversation at a minimum. No, I would lean on the PA opinion there.
Okay.
And appreciate you calling it out. Obviously put some thought into this, but yeah, I think in as much as we can, we want to represent the people here, and so stepping out of those roles, I don't think serves Monterey County as well. If there's a way to do both.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
It does, and I will ask Dolly, and I will say I'm comfortable. It's really not my call, and my comfort is not the highest priority here.
Right.
Whether we're serving the collective interest of the county. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, and we're having the conversation, so I'll say very clearly, obviously my wife is on the port board, and I believe they are going to respond to the RFP as well. So I'll be doing the same. I'll be taking it up with her. And getting her recommendation on there. And so I'll say very clearly at this table, if I have a conflict of interest, I'll recuse myself from the vote. Mm-hmm. And if I don't, I'll be voting. Obviously, it's near and dear to my heart, economic development. So, and I've talked about this with her for a few months now, kind of saw it coming. So it's not a surprise to her, but hopefully now that she's staff, never know how that works, since she's mostly just training people full time. Right. But maybe now that she's staff, she'll be able to dig into it a little bit, give us some recommendations there. So fair
enough. That covers it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert, would you announce that Sheriff Lacey's updating?
Oh, yes. For those tuned in and for Mr. Eugene, the 11 a.m. scheduled agenda item for Sheriff Blakely update has been deferred until these next week.
Bob, you got dressed up for nothing. Good to see you.
And you look good, too. I'm retired.
That's right.
Everything's fine. Is it worth, dollars something highly valuable during this period, one sentence email, or is it worth sending through this use with my class?
Honestly, because you'll read that and respond to that as well. So it might be nice to have some clarity. To have clarity around your three kind of segments there specifically. I would send it over.
Okay. Can I ask you to scan this, and how do I best?
Did you highlight some areas in your copy? Or you only kind of one you gave me? Oh,
that's all I do. You got exactly what I got.
I thought I saw you highlighted something. Okay.
I will do that right now. Okay.